The war had left the skies over Luthara scorched and silent. Once vibrant planets now floated under a shroud of smoke and ash, a testament to the devastating conflict that had claimed countless lives. Among the losses, the one that tormented King Vareen more than any other was the disappearance of his daughter, Princess Lyara. She had been a brilliant strategist and a beloved presence in the palace, and the king had been certain that she had fallen in battle. Swallowed by the chaos that had swept across their worlds, each night, Vareen would stand atop the highest balcony of his palace, staring into the void where stars pierced the darkness, hoping against reason for some sign of her survival. His advisors tried to console him, speaking of honor and duty, of rebuilding what was lost, but the king's heart remained hollow. Every proclamation, every celebration, every moment of peace was tainted by the absence of his daughter. It was. On a calm morning, when the twin suns rose slowly over the horizon, that the impossible happened. The palace gates, long silent and guarded, opened with a creak, and a caravan approached. But it was not the usual procession of diplomats or merchants. At the head rode a young human, his eyes steady, his posture disciplined, yet gentle. Beside him was Lyara, taller than he had remembered, her armor battered but intact, her gaze calm and resolute. The crowd that had gathered outside the gates gasped in awe. Humans were rare in this sector of the galaxy. Most were considered primitive by alien civilizations, often underestimated. But here, one walked confidently beside the Princess of Luthara, as if they were equals, even companions. King Vareen's breath caught. For a long moment he could not speak. His daughter alive, and not alone. Lyara dismounted first, her steps purposeful yet careful. She approached the throne room, and when she finally stood before her father, she knelt, a gesture of respect in Luthara tradition. "Father," she said, her voice steady, "I have returned." Vareen struggled to contain his emotions. "Lyara, how?" Her eyes softened. "It is a long story. The war took much from us, but not everything. I found allies where none were expected. And one among them," she looked at the human beside her, "has proven loyal beyond measure." The human bowed slightly, his voice calm when he spoke. "Your Majesty, I am honored to meet you. I am called Elias." Vareen studied him carefully. Humans were fragile by alien standards, their bodies weak in comparison, but their minds were unpredictable, daring, and remarkable. He had heard tales of human ingenuity, but to see one stand resolutely beside his daughter in the aftermath of war piqued a mix of curiosity and caution. "Tell me everything," Vareen commanded, motioning them inside. Once within the safety of the palace, Lyara recounted the tale. During the war, she had been captured by rival forces and imprisoned in a remote sector. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and hope seemed lost. It was during her escape that she had encountered Elias. He had been part of a group of humans who traveled the galaxy, aiding civilizations caught in conflict. He risked his life to save her from certain death, guiding her through perilous territories, teaching her to trust his instincts and rely on his knowledge of the universe. Beyond her own world, Vareen listened intently, his gaze fixed on the human. The tales of humans' resilience were true, he realized. This Elias had faced dangers that would have broken the strongest soldiers of Luthara, and had done so with courage and wisdom. When Lyara finished, the room was silent. Vareen's mind raced. A part of him felt relief, another suspicion. Could this human truly be trusted? Could he be more than a savior, perhaps a threat? But as he studied Elias' calm demeanor, he sensed something rare: honor, integrity, and a willingness to serve rather than dominate. "I have seen many warriors," Vareen said finally, his voice steady but measured, "but none have moved with such purpose as your companion. Tell me, human, why do you follow my daughter? Elias met his gaze without hesitation. Because she is noble, and because the galaxy needs leaders who will choose courage over fear. She saved not only herself, but countless others in the process. I follow because I believe in what she stands for, and I wish to protect that vision. Vareen felt a strange warmth in his chest, a mixture of pride and surprise. In all his years, he had trained, counseled, and judged countless allies and soldiers, yet this human so unassuming, so unlike his own kind, had earned his respect. In mere days, over the following weeks, the court adjusted to the presence of Elias. At first, there were murmurs of skepticism among advisors and nobles. Some doubted that a human could survive in the political and cultural complexities of Luthara. Others openly mocked the idea. But Elias did not seek favor through words or titles. He proved himself through actions. He helped strategize defenses, aided in negotiations with neighboring planets, and demonstrated remarkable insight into problems that had baffled the most experienced council members. Lyara and Elias were often seen together, walking through the gardens, discussing matters of state, and training in the palace courtyard. The princess seemed lighter, freer, more confident than Vareen had seen in years. And slowly, the court began to accept that perhaps humans, though different, possessed strengths that were invaluable, especially in a galaxy scarred by war. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting golden hues over this palace, Vareen found himself alone with his daughter and the human. They stood at the edge of the balcony, watching the stars emerge. "Father," Lyara said softly, "I know this is unusual, but Elias has been more than a companion. He has been a partner in every way." Vareen studied Elias once more. The human's calm presence, his unwavering loyalty, and the way he made Lyara smile without fear or pretense were undeniable. Perhaps the galaxy was changing, and perhaps it required leaders who could bridge worlds, not just dominate them. "You have my blessing," Vareen said after a pause. "Not because you are human, but because you have shown what is rare among all beings: courage, honor, and care. If my daughter chooses to walk this path with you, you will have my support." Elias bowed deeply. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I will honor your trust." Months passed, and under the combined guidance of Lyara, Elias, and King Vareen, the rebuilding of Luthara and its allied worlds began. The war had left scars, but it had also created an opportunity for unity. Humans, once underestimated, were now sought after as advisors, mediators, and strategists across multiple systems. And at the center of this transformation stood a human who had once saved a princess, not for glory or gain, but because he believed in the potential of a life worth protecting. There were challenges, of course. Some planets resisted the alliance, claiming that humans could never understand the complexities of interstellar politics. Others feared that the princess had been swayed by foreign influence. Yet with patience, determination, and honesty, Lyara and Elias demonstrated that partnership, not dominance, was the key to stability. One night, as a new alliance was being celebrated on Luthara, King Vareen watched his daughter address a gathering of leaders from across the galaxy. Elias stood beside her, quiet yet present, ready to support her in any way needed. The king marveled at the transformation, not just of his daughter, but of the world itself. A human had helped bridge divides that years of diplomacy could not through force, but through understanding, courage, and loyalty. After the ceremony, Lyara approached her father, her eyes bright. "Father, the galaxy is changing, and we are part of that change. Together, we can protect it, guide it, and ensure it never falls to chaos again." Vareen nodded, a rare smile breaking across his features. "You have grown into a leader beyond my dreams." And Elias, You have proven that even the smallest spark can ignite great change. I am proud of you both." Years later, when tales of the great rebuilding of Luthara were told across star systems, the story always included the human who walked beside the princess. Scholars debated how a single human could alter the course of events, yet those who knew the truth understood that it was not just strength or intelligence that mattered. It was courage, integrity, and the belief that even in a galaxy torn by war, hope could endure. And so the legend of Lyra and Elias spread, not as a tale of conquest, but as a testament to what was possible when beings of different worlds chose trust, loyalty, and partnership over fear. King Varine, once a ruler shadowed by grief, now stood proud, knowing that his daughter had not only survived, but had returned stronger, wiser, and with a companion who embodied the very best of humanity. In the end, it was not the wars or the battles that defined the future of the galaxy, but the choices made by those brave enough to act with honor, and the bonds formed between worlds that once seemed impossibly distant. And as Varine looked at his daughter and the human by her side, he knew the galaxy had a chance, because even in the darkest times, light could come from the most unexpected places.